Good morning. So, I want to talk a little bit about how not to take things personally and kind of go over the thought process, my own personal thought process. So, when you have beliefs, so going through this spiritual awakening, when you get to a point where your belief in it is so strong, and because of what you've gone through, because you understand all of everything that is in your belief system, you have put there because of reasons, and you have overcome so many false ways of thinking that you allow your belief system to be fluid. So when you are searching for the truth, and that is what is important, it becomes less about taking things personally and trying to defend your belief system, and it comes more about being curious about other perspectives, because you want the things that are in your belief system to be solid and there because of reasons. So when you get to this point, there isn't anything outside of you that, when your belief is so strong, there isn't anything outside of you that threatens what you believe, because either because you're willing to hear all of the different aspects and all of the different perspectives, and you are willing to check them with your own beliefs, and you are also able to be fluid within your beliefs, to understand that, okay, if I believe something and it is not true, or there is a higher truth, or there's an add-on to it, I would rather know than become defensive and start pushing away things that are threatening to what I already believe. And so then you don't take anything personally, right? So you can because you have the answers. If if somebody is telling you something different than what you believe, or coming into contact with one of your beliefs, and trying to show their own perspective and show you a different way of looking at it, you become very curious. You don't become defensive, you don't take it personally, you don't get your feelings hurt, because you are a truth seeker. So if I believe, and I do, in this spiritual awakening and the rising, and that I'm coming into my higher self, if somebody comes and tells me something um, um, about that I have already resolved within myself, then I'm willing to listen to what they say, and it doesn't threaten what I believe in any case. Because see, what it does is that it allows me to pull out my belief again and check my belief uh, against whatever is coming in, or check my belief in contrast, or in relevance to whatever somebody is speaking. And then either my belief can be advanced, or changed, or brought up for new judgment, or I can say, okay, this is my belief. Let me check my belief again against whatever this new information or old information that is coming in, and then I can see where I stand on it. So rather than taking something personally, oh, they're saying something about me, they don't believe in what I'm saying, instead of fighting for my belief, it doesn't threaten me at all, because whatever is in my mind, or whatever I believe in my heart, in my mind, um, regardless of what they're going to say, it is my own personal. Nobody can get into my mind and tell me what to believe, or tell me what to think, or how to feel. I'm the only one that has that power in my life. Therefore, whenever something comes into my existence that I don't agree with, I don't have to push against. I don't have to get mad. I don't have to try to prove my point. If I can feel that the other person is open to it, and whatever they're saying is open for discussion, then we can discuss it. it's something that interests me to discuss, or even now, it also depends on who, because if it's somebody that I believe that they can gain something from what I have to add, then I'll add it. But if I see that they're so stuck in their own belief and they're not flexible at all to hear what, even to hear, I'm not into, I have no draw or pull or attraction to just purely trying to prove myself. That's pure of the ego, trying to prove I'm right, trying to prove that I have no draw for that. So if I see that somebody can benefit and they want to benefit and they're asking because they really want the knowledge and want truth and want to hear my perspective, then I will go into that conversation with them. But if I realize that they're not going to hear it anyway, typically I'll just say, well, you know either I'll just stop the conversation if I see that they're just trying to prove their point, and I've already been there and already know that, and not coming from a place of being, it's just, it doesn't interest me anymore to get into those kinds of conversations. So when you are when you understand and you completely are secure within yourself and within your own judgment, you trust yourself, you don't take things personally, rather you listen, because whoever is speaking with you, they are speaking from their own perspective, so they are telling you about themselves. And not only that, everything that I already know. So let me hear other perspectives, especially if they're different than my own, so that maybe I can learn something. I can broaden my knowledge. I can also, when I have things that come into my existence that are um, different or opposing to beliefs that I have, it allows me not only to check my belief and hear a different perspective, but if I find it, a lot of times it allows me to hold up my belief and believe in my belief even stronger than before. If I'm going through a spiritual awakening or through a counterpart journey, and I know it to be true with all of my existence, with every single cell in my body has upgraded from this process and received, and it is an absolute knowing that I am connected to the divine, and there is a higher intelligence here that has of all of this creation, that this creation belongs to. And I know this in such a way that I am already connected to it. That belief within me is so strong that it doesn't even matter what comes in to try to move me from that belief. And there is no reason, the only reason that I would have to be upset or have to um, um, fight for my belief is if my belief was threatened. Because my belief is so solid, there is no threateningness in this. There's nothing that threatens it, and therefore I can easily listen to counter perspectives, and be curious. So what is this? How do they look at this? And um, sometimes what it is a call for help. Is you can say one little thing that will take, if somebody's perspective is built on a false pretense, and you have already gained all this power of knowledge, it becomes so clear to you, and so it's like water. It's like you can see right through it, that you don't even have to get upset about it. You don't have to get into any kind of conflict with it. Sometimes you can just come in and go tickle tickle, and just, and the whole their whole, you pull one little pin out of the base of what they're talking about, and it all crumbles to the ground. Um, so the thought process, the thought process is I listen to what somebody has to say. I check it with my beliefs. Either I adopt a new belief, or or I if there's a question, if all of a sudden there's new knowledge and there's a question, wait, my belief is in question, then I understand that this belief is within question and it's up again for discussion. Or I bring my belief up, and my belief gets another. I'm able to check my belief against more opposition, and many times it even further strengthens my belief, because now I've checked my belief up against more aspects and more. It stands upright uh, from more sides of discussion, like more aspects of it. So, and the very first part of this thought process is making sure that whoever is speaking with me, that I completely understand what they are speaking about, which means that I have to completely listen to what they're saying, and make sure with them that I completely understand what they are saying, and only then can I make a judgment of, do I adopt this? Do I not adopt it? Do I take parts of it? Because you have to truly listen. A lot of times when we are when we are asleep, we interpret things differently than they are intended to be interpreted. And many of us know this also from the other side, that we say things and we intend them in a certain way. And if somebody is looking to take it personally, they are going to interpret it however they want to interpret it, in order to see it how they want to see it. So we have been on both sides of this, right? So that's why it's very, very important that we pay attention and completely understand. And that's also what gives us more stimulation in life. We get to see more points of view. We become open. We're not into the arguing or into, if typically anymore. Yeah, I'm not into the trying to argue, or I don't think I've ever been really big on that, or trying to prove my point. If somebody wants to listen, then wonderful. But if they don't want to listen, or I see that they're not open to it, or because trying to fight your point never gets your point across. Trying to fight your point only makes the other person makes them in more opposition of you. Because when somebody is arguing their point, first of all, their point is weak because they have to prove it in order for it to be. And the person is weak because they believe that they need that outside approval. I need to prove to you that I'm right. That means that I'm weak. I can't. I need outside validation. I need you to give me approval of what I think. So that's already weakness in also in your own belief. It's weakness, and it's needing outside validation for your belief. Fighting for your belief is not very elegant. It doesn't serve any kind of purpose, because if you're fighting, the other person goes straight into hermit mode. They're not going to listen. Even if they just want to avoid the argument, they may say, okay, and pull back. But by fighting your point, you're not going to get it across. It's going to make the other person even more in defensive mode and lust. When somebody wants to hear something, their heart is open. They come towards it. They ask for it. If somebody is pulling away and you're trying to push onto them, then their heart isn't open for that message that you're trying to give them anyway. The message of truth comes with love. So if somebody is in defensive mode, which is fear mode, then your message is not getting across anyway. Because think about it, when you adopt things into your own belief system, you adopt them through a place of understanding and love and openness. And you also have to have that place where you're relaxed enough to let your mind off the hook to completely wrap it around whatever idea it is that you are adopting. So it doesn't serve any kind of purpose except for the purpose of the ego trying to be important and trying to be smarter than and trying to be overbearing and trying to force things that aren't coming in a natural way. So that is that. Um, and so that is the thought processes on how not to take something personal. You don't take it, you know, if somebody else says something that isn't to your liking, it is never about you. It is not yours to take personal. It's always about them. So you can either decide to listen so that you can either learn something new, you can see a new perspective, you can understand, you can use it with empathy, you can understand exactly where that other person is sitting within their own, you know, especially if it's somebody that you really care about, you can see where they're sitting in their own perspective. It allows you to check your own belief system. It allows you to gain knowledge. If you're taking it personally, then you're closing yourself off from hearing what they are actually saying. You're closing yourself off from receiving something new. You are closing yourself off in whatever you already know, and closing yourself off from expansion. When you are fighting for whatever you already know, you are closing yourself off from receiving something new. So you're closing yourself off from expansion, and you are also guarding beliefs that if your belief is strong enough and absolute enough, if it is true and rings true, then nothing will come in and threaten it. And if something is threatening it, then maybe you could look to see if you need to, keep it flexible so that if there's something else new that you didn't know before comes in and it changes the way that you look at it, then you are seeking the truth rather than seeking how to be right. So thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.